Number one, it's amazing that you're spending your time doing demos. I highly recommend people who are listening to this, or to just try out tech, even if you're not shopping. Just see
Yeah.
what's out there, see what features others have, and so that's important. Yes, it takes some time, but maybe do it on a day, or set aside some time weeks in advance to do a demo with different tools that are out there. But then the other thing I would say is, don't be afraid to reach out to your existing provider and kind of work with them to get more features onto the tools that you're already using. I think I really appreciate, now that I've gone from the immigration lawyer to sort of the tech founder. I appreciate that you see, us as people and like as a business, and realize that yes, things aren't perfect, because we're people, and like sometimes a contract has a typo, just like sometimes a tool has a bug, right? And you just have to fix it. And I think a lot of times, maybe attorneys in our space, but frankly, a lot of people forget that we've come to expect so much perfection from apps. I mean, we use Uber, we use like, Spotify, and for the most part, those apps work very, very well. But they are billion-dollar companies. If you come to the immigration world, we don't have that kind of size, that capacity, and so teams are smaller and run more scrappy. And I think it's a really mature and reminder to put yourself in the shoes of your vendor, your provider, and say, look, I know you're also running a business. Um, Here's an idea that would make it better, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just, I hate this tool, let me go somewhere else. Or here's an issue that I'm seeing. Can you please fix it, and like understand what they're going through. I see a lot of this on the Facebook groups, and I think it's really important to remember that
Yeah.
we're all working together
Well,
for the
it's
better.
interesting. These vendors are going to reflect the population they're working with, and small immigration firms are the bulk of it, so they're going to kind of reflect that too. Because the big people, they have their own Salesforce custom made. The top five size, they have their own custom made. They don't use big ones or the company. So, well, and one thing that kind of put the first two notes you put together when I started doing demos of other software and like competitors, what I'm using. I was like, oh wow, I could do that. Then I went back and like, oh, our software could do that the whole time. I just never like got into it. So then we
Yeah,
spent a bunch of time. It's just super time consuming. Essentially,
yeah,
I haven't really been practicing law for the first quarter of the year. I was just like studying software, and it kind of drove me crazy. But it's just still more to study. That's the problem. It's just so much. Like I want to make a course out of it to save the people the time what I went through. But it's just hard because like there's like 5 different CRM systems that immigration lawyers typically use. I went through 2 of them, and like I'm not sure if I have the stomach to go through another 2 or 3 and test them out. It's just too much work. Unless I make a separate channel like Marquis on Tech on YouTube. He's the guy who does a lot of like. And I would like to have offshoot of that. I'm not sure how profitable it will be, but I have an associate who's helping with him. I really want to train him for him to make an offshoot of the toolbox that just talks about these things. But there's also the issue of you don't want to say negative stuff too because I feel the field. So it's
right.
like it gets a little weird.
Yeah, and also, a lot of the demos are pretty bespoke. I'll even say this for Laborless. We're a very niche product. And even though the product itself it has certain things that every client gets, especially when we work with bigger clients, but honestly, even smaller ones, depending on what their needs are and their workflow is, I'll do a slightly different demo to address their concerns rather
Yeah.
than the concerns of a different type of firm. So listen, a YouTube channel and a course would be amazing. I think it would be a really good way for people to narrow down what they want. And then they go out and say, okay, John talked to 40 companies. 6 of them are really relevant to me. Let me go also now talk to those 6.
Mhm.
I think that would be great. I think that'd be really great.